Greetings, my dear people. This weekend our readings, particularly our first reading, introduces us to a type of biblical literature called wisdom literature. The first reading is taken from the book of Wisdom. And it is important to know that there are different types of writings in the Bible. There are histories, narratives, poems, law codes, songs, letters, writings about the end of history. There are parables, covenants, and prophecies about events declaring God's judgment and actions throughout history. Well, why is it important to know this? Well, for two reasons really. First of all, it allows us to use the right writing on the right occasion. Letters are particularly useful for guidance in living out our Christian lives in a practical way, and also for church situations. The Gospels tell us about the life and teachings of Christ, and the prophets speak on themes like faithfulness and coping in times of stress. But there's another reason why it is important to know the type of writing that you're reading. They are also instructive for interpretation purposes. Some writings are philosophical and can be used in every age because there are certain questions that concerns man. And regardless of what age we live in, we still have those questions to encounter. Some readings are highly symbolic and they require special knowledge for interpretation. For instance, the book of the Apocalypse. And others, like the law codes, pertain to a particular time and place, and we have to extract meaning for ourselves today. But there is a body of biblical literature called wisdom writings. They include the books of Job, Ecclesiastes, the Song of Songs, Proverbs, where our reading is from this weekend, some of the Psalms, and the writings of James, and some of the teachings of Jesus as well reflects this type of writing. What is wisdom literature? Well, these writings, they offer counsel to the human race. Job, for instance, teaches us about life as suffering in relationship with God. Ecclesiastes, on the other hand, offers a philosophical reflection on meaning, on happiness, and how transient life is. It does not last very long. The Song of Songs teaches us about covenanted love. So, simply put, wisdom is the virtue that enables one to make good choices in the complicated situations of life. Right? Let me repeat that. The wisdom that is reflected in wisdom literature is the virtue that enables one to make good choices in the complicated situations of life. And for the follower of Jesus, wisdom is the art of godly living. Now I'll deal a little bit with that later in terms of the difference between human wisdom and godly wisdom. Now there's a lot of competition today over the word wisdom. Everyone offers advice on what is good living. All kinds of shows and books tell us about the true meaning of life, how to be happy, how to build up your self-confidence, how to overcome obstacles. There are talk shows on every morning and evening offering all kinds of advice about relationships, about marriage, and about better living. They bring on these fit-looking, smiling people who tell us that if we do this or if we buy that, we could be just like them. Well, the Bible basically does the same thing in terms of its wisdom literature, but there's a big difference. In fact, there are 4 differences. First, the Bible tells us that there is no instant happiness. It does not come from buying this or that product or holding this or that philosophy. There is nothing that will solve your problem in one day or a week or even a year. In the realm of faith, we don't do instant. There is no instant coffee or instant oatmeal in the realm of faith. In the realm of faith, it is a progressive thing. It happens over a period of time. Secondly, attaining wisdom is hard. It is not easy. It is much easier, in fact, to do foolish things. Today, we can do a lot of marvelous things. We may know how to split the atom. We can make machines talk. We can decode the genome and scan the human body. But we remain unsure about how to make life work. In our search for meaning and happiness, we simply lack wisdom. We are truly in need. When we think about things like relationships, about keeping families intact, about getting countries to get along with each other, we don't know how to do that. So true wisdom is a difficult thing. Thirdly, wisdom stresses the limitation of human knowledge. In the Bible, the sage is commanded to go about his task with humility and reverence for God. The learned must never forget their limitations. And we are told that they are always prone to error and conceit. And finally, and probably most importantly, we are told that there is no wisdom without God. Most of the self-help wisdom today leaves God completely out of the picture. True wisdom takes time because it is a progressive walk with God as He reveals things to us over a period of time. Modern wisdom, on the other hand, human wisdom, is an instant fix. But true wisdom comes from God revealing Himself through His Word. And in order to attain true wisdom, we have to study, we have to read, we have to listen, we have to meditate, and we have to obey. Over time, we gain the ability to discern God's call, to discern good from evil, by the constant practice of the teachings of God. So my dear friends, don't be fooled by modern wisdom. God's wisdom is difficult. It takes time. It is a progressive walk with God. And God must always be in the picture. God bless you all. Have a great weekend.